Maya is a successful black businesswoman in a bustling city. She runs her own small business, which she has built from the ground up. Every day, she handles the operations with pride, making sure everything runs smoothly. She's not just good at her job, she's great at it. Maya's work ethic and determination have earned her the respect of everyone around her, from customers to colleagues. She knows what it's like to struggle, to face challenges that seem impossible, but she also knows what it feels like to overcome them. Maya is the definition of confidence. She's self-made and proud of her achievements. Every success she's had, every milestone she's crossed, is a result of her hard work and dedication. And while she might not always say it out loud, Maya knows she's earned every bit of respect she gets. She's built a life for herself that many people admire, but not everyone around her shares that respect. For some, the fact that she's a black woman succeeding in a world that's often stacked against people like her is something they can't quite understand. But Maya doesn't let that bother her. She's used to people underestimating her, and she knows how to prove them wrong. One morning, Maya is driving to work, like she does every day. The sun is just beginning to rise, and she's thinking about the day ahead, meetings to attend, decisions to make, challenges to face. She's focused, moving through the busy city streets when, suddenly, a police car pulls up behind her. The sirens go off, and she pulls over to the side of the road, not sure what's happening. Officer Daniels, a tall and imposing figure, steps out of his car. Maya notices his stern expression as he approaches her vehicle. From the way he walks toward her, there's something about his posture that gives her an uneasy feeling. The look in his eyes doesn't seem like the typical curiosity a cop might have when pulling someone over. It's something more. As he taps on her window and she rolls it down, his first words aren't about why she was stopped. Instead, he immediately starts questioning her. "What exactly are you doing here? Driving this nice car?" he asks, his tone cold and dismissive. Maya's heart skips a beat, but she stays calm. She's used to dealing with difficult people. But this time, it's different. This isn't just a cop doing his job. This is something more personal, something deeper. She feels the weight of his words. This encounter isn't about her driving, it's about her success. Officer Daniels clearly can't understand how a black woman like her could have made it this far. She takes a deep breath, trying to keep her composure. The tension in the air is thick. This is the first sign of racism that Maya has faced today. And she knows, from the way he's speaking to her, that this is just the beginning. Maya is still sitting in her car, trying to stay calm, when Officer Daniels leans down, looking inside. He's standing tall, his uniform sharp and clean, but his attitude is far from professional. The moment he opens his mouth, it's clear that something is wrong. "You know, I didn't pull you over just for speeding," he says, his voice harsh, like he's already decided that something isn't right about Maya being in this neighborhood, driving the car she's in. "What exactly do you do for a living?" Maya is taken aback by the question. She's used to being asked about her business. After all, she's proud of her success. But the way Officer Daniels asks feels different. There's a tone in his voice, a judgment, that makes it clear he doesn't believe someone like her could be successful. "I run my own business," she replies, keeping her voice steady. "Oh, really?" Daniels raises an eyebrow, clearly not believing her. "What kind of business?" Maya stays calm, though she can feel the tension building in the air. "I own a small business. I work hard to make it successful." Officer Daniels doesn't respond right away. Instead, he steps back and looks at her car with suspicion, like he's trying to find something wrong. Maya realizes he's not really interested in her business at all. He's questioning her ability to be successful simply because she's a black woman. His attitude shifts from rude to dismissive as he continues to question her. "How did you manage to get all this?" He gestures to her car. "I mean, it's not like people like you usually make it this far." Maya feels a knot in her stomach. She knows exactly what he's implying. The way he said, "people like you," makes it clear he's not just judging her success. He's judging her for having the confidence and the audacity to be successful at all. She knows this stop is unnecessary, but she decides to stay calm. She's dealt with situations like this before, but the more he talks, the more she understands that Officer Daniels isn't just being rude, he's being racist. Officer Daniels, sensing that Maya isn't backing down, decides to go on the offensive. He steps even closer to her car, his voice growing more sarcastic. "So tell me, how exactly did you make all this money? Did you have some lucky break, or is there a big rich person behind you pulling the strings?" He scoffs, like he doesn't believe she could have done it on her own. Maya feels the heat of his words, but she doesn't flinch. His attempt to humiliate her only shows his weakness, not hers. But he keeps pushing. "I mean, come on," he says with a smirk. "You don't honestly expect anyone to believe you just worked hard for all this, do you? You've got to have some connections, right?" His words sting, but Maya refuses to let them sink in. He's not just questioning her business skills, he's questioning her worth as a person. He doesn't believe someone who looks like her could achieve success without some sort of help, something he thinks she doesn't deserve. He takes a step back, crossing his arms over his chest. "You're just not what we usually see in the business world. People like you, they don't belong there." The insult lands hard. It's clear that Officer Daniels doesn't just see her as a successful businesswoman. He sees her as an outsider, someone who doesn't belong. He's trying to put her down, to publicly humiliate her in front of anyone who might be watching. For a moment, Maya is silent. She's been calm through all of this, but now she's had enough. She knows this situation isn't going to get better if she stays quiet, so she decides it's time to speak up. Not just for herself, but for everyone who has ever been made to feel small because of their race. "You know," Maya says, her voice firm, "you really seem insecure. You've been asking me all these questions, trying to make me feel small. But you know what? I'm not the one who feels small here." Officer Daniels is caught off guard by her response. He blinks, his arrogance faltering for a second. Maya takes advantage of the moment. "You're so desperate to put me down because deep down, you're scared. You think that because I'm a black woman, I shouldn't be able to have a successful business. You think I should just stay in my place. But guess what? I've worked hard to get where I am, and no one, especially not you, is going to make me feel bad about it." She pauses, giving him a look that says everything. "You're stuck in the past, officer. The world is changing, but you're too scared to keep up. That's why you're acting like this. You can't accept that someone like me can be successful." Maya leans back in her seat, her eyes steady and unwavering. For the first time during this interaction, she feels truly empowered. The tension in the air shifts, and it's clear that she's not going to back down. "I didn't get where I am because of luck," Maya continues, her tone sharp and clear. "I got here because I worked harder than most people would even imagine. And maybe if you spent less time trying to bring people down, you'd see how hard it is to truly succeed." There's a moment of silence. Officer Daniels, who expected Maya to apologize or cower, is left speechless. For the first time, he realizes that his attempt to humiliate her has only made him look foolish. Maya can feel the change in the air. What started as a routine traffic stop has now spiraled into something much darker. Officer Daniels' anger is palpable. His face is red, his hands are clenched into fists, and his eyes narrow in disbelief. Maya's calm, confident response has clearly rattled him. He expected her to apologize or at least be intimidated, but instead, she stood her ground. Now he's determined to regain control. "Listen," he snaps, his voice rising. "I don't know who you think you are, but you're not getting away with this." He takes a step closer to her car, his uniform crackling as he moves. "You think you can just talk back to me like that? I'll make sure you regret this." Maya remains still, her gaze locked with his. She doesn't flinch. "Regret what? Telling the truth?" She responds, her voice steady but full of strength. But Officer Daniels isn't listening. He's too caught up in his pride. You think this is how it works? I'll give you a ticket for everything I can find. I'll pull you in for questioning. You don't think I can make your life difficult? You have no idea who you're messing with. He leans down toward her window now, towering over her. The smell of his cologne and sweat mixes with the heavy tension hanging in the air. He tries to intimidate her, his chest puffed out, his finger wagging in her face. You'll be sorry you ever challenged me. You think you're above the law? I'll show you who's in charge here. Maya feels the shift. She's no longer just dealing with a rude cop. This is a man desperate to control her, desperate to prove that he holds the power. And she's not going to let him. Officer Daniels takes another step forward, closing the space between them. You better start being more respectful, he warns, his voice low and dangerous. Or I'll find a way to make this a whole lot worse for you. The officer is getting dangerously close now, his presence pressing against Maya's calm demeanor. He wants her to flinch. He wants her to back down. But Maya refuses. Her heart is beating fast, but she's not afraid. She knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to provoke her, to make her lose her cool so that he can justify whatever actions he wants to take next. And then it happens. Something inside Maya shifts. All of the frustration, all of the years of being underestimated and belittled, all of the times people like Officer Daniels have tried to put her in her place, all of that suddenly bursts out in one clear moment. She can feel the anger rising in her chest, but it's not fear. It's power, it's strength, and she's ready to show him exactly who he's dealing with. You're scared, aren't you? Maya's voice cuts through the air like a knife. The words hang in the space between them, and for the first time, Officer Daniels falters, his eyes narrow, confused by her sudden shift. What are you talking about? He sneers, still trying to maintain control. You're scared, Maya repeats, her voice even sharper now. You're scared of someone like me, someone who doesn't fit your idea of who should be successful. You're scared because I don't need anyone's permission to be here. You can't stand the fact that I'm confident enough to call you out on your bullshit. And that's why you're acting like this. She leans forward in her seat, her back straight, and her eyes steady. She's no longer the calm, collected woman she was a moment ago. Now, she's the woman who has had enough. You think you can intimidate me? She continues, her voice growing louder. You think you can make me feel small? You've got another thing coming. All you're doing is showing me how weak you are. Maya's words hit harder with every syllable, and Officer Daniels stumbles back, clearly thrown off by the intensity of her response. He takes a step back, trying to regain his posture, but Maya doesn't give him a chance. Let me guess, she says, her tone dripping with sarcasm. You're so used to people cowering when you pull this stunt. You probably think you can bully anyone into doing what you want, but that's not gonna work on me. I don't need your approval, I don't need your permission, and I'm not going to let you make me feel less than. Not now, not ever. Her words hang in the air between them, sharp and clear. And for the first time, Officer Daniels isn't the one with the power. Maya is. Her voice lowers, but it's still laced with an undeniable strength. You think I'm scared? You think you've got control over me? The truth is, you're just scared of losing your grip on people like me, but you don't have that power, not anymore. Maya sits up even straighter, meeting his eyes directly. So go ahead, try to do your worst. But remember this, you can't intimidate me. I'm not afraid of you. And if you want to make this about me being out of place, go ahead. But I've earned my place here just like everyone else. And no one, especially not you, can take that away from me. As Maya stands her ground, her voice steady and filled with confidence, the surrounding crowd starts to take notice. The tension in the air is impossible to ignore. People walking by stop in their tracks, sensing something is wrong. A few of them glance at Maya, then at Officer Daniels, and before long, a few phones appear. quietly pointed at the scene. The officer's attempts to intimidate Maya seem even more ridiculous now. His voice is still loud, but it's no longer commanding. It's defensive. Maya, on the other hand, stands tall and unshaken, her calmness only highlighting his aggression. She can feel the eyes of the people around her, and she knows that they see it too. Officer Daniels is the one in the wrong. Someone nearby mutters, "Is he really treating her like that?" The words catch Maya's attention, and she glances around to see several people now watching them, some shaking their heads, others already pulling out their phones. She doesn't back down. If anything, the attention fuels her confidence. The more people witness what's happening, the more power she feels. She's no longer just standing up for herself. She's standing up for everyone who has ever been mistreated like this, for everyone who's been made to feel less than because of their race, gender, or background. "Are you serious right now?" Another person calls out, their voice incredulous. "This isn't right. Someone should do something." The camera lenses zoom in. The clicks of people recording the interaction grow louder. Officer Daniels is so focused on trying to intimidate Maya that he doesn't even notice how much attention he's attracting. Maya sees it all. The people on their phones, the quiet murmurs of disbelief, the growing sense of tension. She feels a small surge of hope. The world is watching. And as the crowd continues to gather, someone finally speaks up. "Hey, this isn't okay. Let her go." Officer Daniels shifts his attention from Maya to the growing crowd. The last vestiges of his authority slip away as more people get involved. For the first time, Officer Daniels starts to realize that this is bigger than just him and Maya. It's a public spectacle now. The video is already being uploaded to social media. The hashtags #Justice for Maya and #Racist Cop go viral almost instantly. In a matter of hours, the footage has spread to every corner of the internet. It doesn't take long for the situation to spiral out of Officer Daniels' control. His face is flushed with anger, but now there's an element of panic in his eyes. Maya, who moments ago seemed vulnerable to his authority, now looks untouchable. Her strength is magnetic, and he's starting to lose his grip on the situation. All right, I'm done here," he mutters, backing up slightly. He tries to act like he's in control, but it's clear that the power dynamic has completely shifted. The crowd around them murmurs in disbelief, some even laughing at how ridiculous the situation has become. "You don't have the right to treat people this way," someone says from the crowd, the words loud and clear. Daniels looks around, searching for something, anything, that could give him back some semblance of control. But the truth is, it's too late. The video is already out there. The entire confrontation is being recorded. His every move, his every word is being shared and commented on by thousands, if not millions of people. And the backlash is swift. "I'm giving you a warning," Daniel says now, his voice weak, trying to pull himself out of the hole he's dug. "You should just go before this gets worse." Maya doesn't flinch. She doesn't need to say anything more. Her silence speaks volumes. She knows the game is up for Officer Daniels. He's no longer the authority figure he once was. He's just a man who's been exposed. But Officer Daniels doesn't know how to stop the damage that's already done. He looks at Maya one last time, but she's unbothered. Her posture still proud, her face showing no fear, no regret. He spins around quickly and heads back to his patrol car, but the damage is done. In the moments that follow, the crowd disperses, but not before more people take pictures, and the video continues to spread. Later that evening, the footage is featured on the news. The headline reads, "Racist Cop Harasses Successful Black Businesswoman in Broad Daylight." The clips show everything: his sarcastic questions, his attempt to humiliate Maya, and her powerful response. By morning, the video has been shared millions of times across social media platforms. The backlash comes fast and furious. Officer Daniels is bombarded with comments online, all calling for accountability. Some people argue that he should be fired, others demand an investigation. His actions, once hidden behind the badge, are now out in the open for the world to see. Inside the police department, things are not going well for him. Colleagues who once respected him begin to question his behavior. The same people who used to have his back are now expressing doubt. Some even say things like, "This isn't the cop we knew." But Officer Daniels is too proud to admit his mistakes. He spends the next few days dodging phone calls and avoiding anyone who might ask about the incident. He tries to bury himself in paperwork, hoping the media frenzy will die down, but it doesn't. By the end of the week, the investigation into his actions is underway. The police department issues a public statement stating, "The actions of Officer Daniels are under investigation. We do not condone any form of racial discrimination, and we are committed to ensuring that justice is served." The pressure continues to mount. His phone starts ringing with calls from his superiors, who are now questioning his judgment. The department holds meetings, and soon word starts to spread that Daniels' behavior will have serious consequences. And then, a few days later, the inevitable happens. The police department announces that Officer Daniels has been terminated. The news story breaks. Officer Daniels fired after racial harassment incident. In a brief statement, the department affirms its commitment to integrity and fairness, stressing that racism has no place in this department or in this community. Maya hears the news while sitting at her desk in her office. She doesn't feel joy or victory, but a quiet satisfaction. She doesn't want to see anyone lose their job, but she knows justice has been done. The world has seen what happens when someone abuses their power, and now the consequences are clear. As Maya watches the news report, she can't help but feel proud of the strength she showed that day. But more importantly, she knows that the world is starting to listen. The viral video of the confrontation between Maya and Officer Daniels spreads like wildfire. In a matter of hours, it has been shared across social media platforms, appearing on news websites, and making its way to TV screens. Millions of people from around the world watch the footage. They see a powerful black businesswoman standing up to a racist cop with grace, dignity, and an undeniable strength. Maya's calm in the face of aggression is both inspiring and empowering. Social media is flooded with messages of support for Maya. Hashtags like "Stand with Maya," "Justice for Maya," and "End Racism" begin trending worldwide. People from all walks of life, including fellow entrepreneurs, activists, and ordinary citizens, post messages of admiration for her courage and poise. "You're an inspiration," many write. "Thank you for showing us what real strength looks like." Others share their own experiences of racism, relating to Maya's story and expressing gratitude for her bravery in standing up for what is right. Maya's phone never stops buzzing. She's flooded with messages of support from her friends, family, and even strangers who have seen the video. Several prominent figures reach out to her privately, offering their admiration and encouraging her to continue using her platform to speak out. Even though the attention is overwhelming at times, Maya remains humble. She knows that this isn't just about her. This is about everyone who has ever been judged, belittled, or made to feel less because of the color of their skin. Meanwhile, Officer Daniels, who had once felt untouchable, is now a figure of ridicule. His actions are scrutinized by the public, and soon after, the police department launches a formal investigation into his conduct. Internal reports indicate that Daniels has a history of inappropriate behavior, and his actions during the incident with Maya are the tipping point. The investigation intensifies, with multiple complaints being raised about his conduct, and soon the once respected officer finds himself in the middle of a firestorm. As the investigation unfolds, Daniels' colleagues and supervisors begin to distance themselves from him. Many of them who once had his back now speak out against his behavior. His reputation crumbles, and public opinion of him shifts from one of respect to one of disdain. The department is under immense pressure to take action, and it becomes clear that Officer Daniels' career is hanging by a thread. Through all of this, Maya continues to focus on what she does best, running her business. The attention from the incident, while overwhelming at first, hasn't distracted her from her mission. In fact, it has given her a new sense of purpose. She doesn't seek revenge on Officer Daniels. She doesn't want to see anyone lose their job. Instead, she channels her energy into making her business even more successful, using her newfound platform to amplify her voice on issues of racial injustice and equality. Maya becomes a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, not just as a businesswoman, but as a woman who has faced adversity and come out stronger on the other side. She uses her social media to speak out about the importance of standing up against racism, sharing stories of how she's fought to overcome the obstacles in her path, and encouraging others to do the same. She becomes a role model for young Black girls, for women of color, for anyone who has ever been told they can't achieve something because of who they are. Her message is clear. You don't need to apologize for being yourself. You don't need to shrink down to fit someone else's expectations of who you should be. Stand tall, stand proud, and never back down from your dreams. Her business, which was already thriving before the incident, experiences a boom in attention. Orders come in from across the country, and new partnerships start to form with other brands that share her values. Maya takes this new visibility in stride, using her platform to promote not only her business, but also causes that she cares deeply about. She collaborates with organizations working to end racial inequality, using her voice to shed light on systemic problems and advocate for positive change. She's offered speaking engagements, interviews, and even opportunities to mentor other women looking to break into business. Maya doesn't shy away from the spotlight. She embraces it, knowing that her journey can inspire others to push through their own challenges and never let anyone tell them they aren't enough. Maya's success is no longer just about building her business. It's about building a legacy of strength, courage, and empowerment. She knows that her work is far from done, but she is more determined than ever to make a difference. As the days go by, Officer Daniels' situation worsens. The public backlash is unrelenting. News outlets continue to cover the incident, and Maya's supporters keep demanding accountability. What happened to Maya isn't just a case of a bad cop, it's a symptom of a much bigger problem, one commentator says during a live broadcast. This needs to be addressed at every level. After weeks of mounting pressure, the police department makes a decision. Officer Daniels is officially fired. In a public statement, the department expresses their regret over the incident and reaffirms their commitment to upholding the law fairly and without bias. They make it clear that racism, discrimination, and abuse of power will not be tolerated. The message is clear. Racism has no place in this community, and this kind of behavior will not be condoned. The news of Daniels' termination is met with mixed reactions. Some people feel that the police department's actions are long overdue, while others argue that Daniels should face criminal charges. Regardless, one thing is certain. His career is over. He is now a symbol of the very racism he tried to enforce. Maya watches the news clip of his firing, but she doesn't feel joy or triumph. Instead, she feels a quiet satisfaction that justice has been served. She understands that this wasn't just about him. This was about creating a space where people of all races can live and work without fear of discrimination. Her strength, her response, her ability to stand up when it mattered. That's what made the difference. As the dust settles, Maya reflects on everything that has happened. She doesn't feel victorious because of Officer Daniels' downfall, nor does she feel proud that her story went viral. What she feels is something deeper, a sense of fulfillment. She knows that this is only the beginning of her journey. She's stronger now than she's ever been. The challenge of facing down a racist cop didn't break her. It made her unbreakable. She knows that there will be other obstacles, other battles to fight. But now, Maya stands tall and ready to take on whatever comes next. Because she's not just a businesswoman anymore. She's a force for change. In her final moments in front of the camera, Maya shares a message to the world. This is for everyone who's ever felt that they don't belong, For anyone who's ever been told they can't do something, don't let anyone define your worth. You get to decide who you are, and no one can take that from you. So stand up, speak out, and know that the world is watching. And when they see you, they won't just see who you are. They'll see the change you're bringing. The story of Maya and Officer Daniels may have come to a close, but Maya's journey has only just begun. Maya stands in front of the camera, her presence calm, but undeniable. The camera zooms in slowly, capturing the strength in her eyes and the confidence in her posture. She takes a deep breath, as if gathering all the words she's about to share, and then begins to speak directly to the audience, her voice steady and clear. Stand up for yourself because the world is watching. And when they do, you don't just change your story, you change the world's perception. She pauses, letting her words sink in, making sure everyone feels the weight of what she just said. Maya isn't just speaking to the camera, she's speaking to anyone who has ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or silenced. Her voice carries the strength of someone who has lived through adversity and emerged stronger on the other side. I didn't stand up because I wanted revenge or recognition. I did it because I knew that if I didn't, I would be letting someone else define me. And that's the thing about standing up. It's not just for you. When you stand up for yourself, you show others what it means to be unshakable, to be proud, and to never let anyone make you feel less than who you are. Maya's eyes soften as she continues, her tone growing more personal, more encouraging. She's no longer speaking just from her own experience. She's speaking to the hearts of everyone watching, reminding them of their own power. I want you to understand that one person can make a difference. One person can change the narrative. One person can stand up, speak out, and demand that things be different. You don't need a huge platform. You don't need to be perfect. And you certainly don't need anyone's permission to be your authentic self. What you need is the courage to be unapologetically you, no matter what anyone else thinks. Her voice is steady, but there's a fire beneath it now. A fire that's been fueled by the countless voices she's heard over the years, those who have fought for change, those who have been wronged, and those who have stood in the face of adversity. I know it's not always easy. Standing up means facing your fears, facing opposition, facing the possibility of failure. But let me tell you something. Failure is just a stepping stone to success. And even if the world doesn't always cheer for you, even if they don't see the change you're creating, know this: you're making a difference. You're showing the world what real strength looks like. Maya takes another deep breath, her expression now calm but resolute. She wants everyone watching to feel the full impact of her message, to believe in their own worth and in their ability to create change. So I'm here to tell you this: keep going. Keep standing tall. Keep speaking your truth. Because the moment you decide to stop being quiet is the moment you start changing everything, not just for yourself, but for everyone who comes after you. The world is watching, and when they do, you'll see something amazing happen. You won't just change your own story, you'll change the world's perception of what's possible. She smiles softly, the strength in her face radiating from within. She's done with her message, but it's clear that her words will linger long after the camera stops rolling. Maya's journey is far from over, but she knows that with each step, she's paving the way for others to walk with the same courage. Remember, you are powerful. Never forget that. The camera fades to black, leaving behind the lasting impression of Maya's words, a call to action, a reminder of strength, and a declaration that every person has the ability to change the world, one stand at a time.